Oh yeah, 30 seconds.
3, 2,
Yeah.
1, go.
And welcome back to Great County Life on Rogers TV. We are so happy to say that our co-host, Miss Mary Jane, is back in the house. Yay!
Oh, well, I am really glad to be back, and I certainly missed everything that was going on the past 2 shows because this is your favorite lifestyle magazine show on Rogers TV, and so I had to watch on the Rogers website the 2 previous shows that I missed, and they were a hoot. So.
Yes, there is a bit of chaos in the house when Mary Jane's away. So, but that's all right. You know, we just switch it up and keep people on their toes.
Well, absolutely. And I may do the background organizational stuff, but you bring the big smile and the fun. So whatever happens, we just roll with that.
It's been a good couple of weeks, but boy, we are heading into Christmas at the speed of sound, aren't we?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, what is it, Friday? No, tomorrow is December 1st.
Yeah.
Tomorrow is December 1st, and so what happens? December 1st, and it's
boom.
gone. It's there.
It really is.
Yeah,
it really is.
Really.
You know, all the different events. Of course, we've got updates for the community of always, but boy, this is a busy season. There's stuff going on every single weekend. By the time this airs, the artisan show down at the Bayshore will be completed, and I can't wait to see what they have and the food and see Jackie and everybody. That'll be fun. I wanted to say, I noticed on Facebook this morning, the Family Y, our Family Y, has a program that on Wednesdays, I think it's between 10 and 12, you can drop in and get your resume tweaked. Look at what jobs are out there. Talk to somebody with no appointment. Just go in. It's a drop-in service. It's here in Owen Sound and in Hanover. So if you're looking for a job, which, you know, it seems like they're everywhere these days, but if you want a little bit of direction, go in and get some free advice and maybe some help with tweaking your resume, which is always a good thing.
Well, absolutely. And the other piece to this at this time of year is that people aren't always holding very closely to their budget. Yeah. It's a time of impulse buying, and which I admit, I impulse buy on my way to the show this morning, and I bought my husband a pair of light bulb socks, but they were only $3. And so I figured, oh, don't tell him that.
Yeah, I was going to say, ooh, don't let him watch. Yeah.
But, you know, looking at, you know, what is my budget, and you know, that was affordable with all the other little things that I was, you know, doing for stocking stuffers and things like that. Yeah. But I always have a list. I know exactly what I'm going out to buy, and if I don't see it at the price that I wanted to spend, I usually back away and think about it. If it's more than what I want to spend, then something else might drop off the list. How important was this one item? Yeah. So keeping a list, keeping track. We've done this all our married life. You buy something, you record it. You know exactly what you're spending all the time.
That is, you know what, I am, you know, I get mocked a wee bit because I have spreadsheets. Oh, yeah. But, you know, I know what I've spent on everything throughout the year. I do it on Excel. Yeah. And boy, it really does help keep track and remind you that, oh, I've spent this much on gifts this year, I've spent this much on my gas, or my groceries are at this, and I like to monitor that. Now the Christmas thing, that's a good idea, because you know, you find little things, you buy it and you tuck it away, and then I find it later and think, oh, what am I thinking?
Oh yeah.
You know, I've got gifts for Charlie, don't tell him. I've got gifts for Charlie that I came across mid-year thinking, oh gosh, I forgot to give that to the poor guy. And he's always so generous to me at Christmas. I do have to spoil him once in a while. So there's always something under the tree for me from Charlie. You know.
Well, he's a very smart dog. I mean, absolutely. I mean, I should go shopping with him.
You should. You should. He knows exactly what I want every year. It's a miracle. Yeah, it's a fun time.
But I know that it's also, not only is it a time for joy and celebration, there's lots of Christmas music, Christmas markets where you see the skills and talents of our community artisans. And of course, the Christmas shows as well, whether you're at the Roxy or at the theater or Heartwood,
yeah.
Whatever the music venues are in our community. And if you can take in some of those or one or two of those over the season and build that into your budget as well.
Yeah, most definitely. And it is, you know, there's, like you say, there are so many opportunities to buy local, support our community, and give people a quality gift rather than something that's maybe going to get, you know, chucked later on. So,
well, exactly. And I think supporting our local businesses, because they donate to just about everything that's going on in our community. The local businesses are really generous in their support for the fundraisers that are happening. And I feel really committed to spending my dollars in the local community so that I am supporting the local business folks as well.
Yeah, when you look, I know that the Salvation Army, their Christmas fundraising is in full swing this week. If you're walking by the kettle, drop some change in there if you have it, and other ways too. You know, our local food banks, O'Share, who's feeding everybody, it sounds like, in our community.
Between 500 and 800 meals per week. Yeah.
And Christmas, you know, you want people to have a decent meal, and you know, we all look forward to our big Christmas turkey dinner. It's one of my favorites, and some people don't get that at home. They can't, you know, it's not cheap.
Well, not only that, but you know, the sense of isolation is really a key factor too. And for some folks, they just need to get out and be with other people.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, as I say, we are so glad to say that it's your host, Rhonda Brown, and Mary Jane Murray back on Grey County Life. Don't turn that dial. We'll be back after these commercials with our guests for this week.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
We can be hurt. We can be bruised. We can be broken. Slowed down, confused, and even numbed. But we can't be defeated. We're built on a foundation that's strong, our mission unwavering, and together we'll beat as one.
What is it?
Anxiety disorder.
Depression.
Clear.
PTSD.
1 in 2, a flip of a coin. That's the same chance we'll experience a mental illness by the time we're 40. $1 a day can help change those odds and bring hope to those in need.
Are you the type who would keep going or stop? It's not easy to stop when you have an addiction. Legalizing cannabis won't stop addiction. It trivializes its consumption. Let's be vigilant. If you need help, visit portage.ca.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm one of your hosts, Rhonda Brown, and we have a very special guest today that we haven't seen for a while.
Yes, we're welcoming Greg Nicol, who is the Fire Prevention Officer, into our new studio. He hasn't been here before. And so welcome, Greg. And of course, you always bring with you a wealth of information around fire prevention.
Absolutely. I'm glad to be back. I mean, it's been a long time, and I'm really excited to be in the new studio with you guys today to talk about fire safety, what we can do to prevent fires and stay safe here in the city of Owen Sound.
This is a particular time of year where I'm really concerned about fire safety, more so than other seasons, because now we're plugging in extra heaters and we want to light up our houses, indoors, outdoors. Tell us how to be safe.
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, my house in the last couple of weeks is transformed from a normal house to what my wife will refer to as a Christmas wonderland, right? We've got trees in the house, we've got lights plugged in and wrapped around cedar bows and extra candles. So I understand that. Right? And the important things to do is to use those things safely, to unplug them when you're not in the room or when you're gone or when you're going away. To use stuff that's listed for those uses, right? You'll see stuff that'll be listed for use inside. You don't want to use it outside, and vice versa. So you can prevent shocks, you can prevent injuries, and maybe prevent a fire. We've had so much better technology now. When you buy new lighting, it's lower voltage. It runs cooler. So there's a lot of good things about that. Limiting your extension cord use, very important. My colleague Doug McEwen and I, when we do inspections, we're very adamant about the use of extension cords. They're designed for temporary use and temporary use only. Ideally, plug things directly into receptacles rather than using an extension cord. And just be cognizant of when you're using a candle, how much room you have around it, what your animals are doing around it, and when you leave the room to blow the candles out.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. The part about your animals around it. I mean, I've got Charlie, and he stands about this high in that tail because he's always happy. You know, if you've got candles on a side table or something, you've really got to be careful.
100%. I mean, I just did my former neighbor this weekend. The animal managed to lock the family out of the house. So animals aren't necessarily cognizant of what they're doing. They don't understand fire risk, right? Yeah. So being aware of that and making sure that it's away from not only pets as well, you know, tots and little people, that they're not touching things that they shouldn't be touching, right? Yeah. Very important to be cognizant of that. Also, this time of year, you're probably hosting somebody more than you normally would. Not that you're not doing that, but and then on top of that, you add in, there's always some kind of lots of times there's recreationals and/or alcohol that are in play, right? So you start to do those kind of things, you start to lose your focus on what you may be doing on the kitchen stove, or on the barbecue, or wherever you're cooking, and fires can start that way as well. So be cognizant if you are the person that's doing the cooking. Maybe, you know, I used to heard the saying, and I've said it before lots of times, is responsible drinking doesn't end with a drive home, right? It also includes at home. Right, yeah. So if you are going to be having a couple of drinks, maybe that's the time where you've just got easy finger foods rather than trying to do a big cooked display for your family and friends.
It's difficult enough without adding alcohol or recreationals, as you said.
Yeah.
Well, when my family come, there's 13 of us sleeping and eating for 4 days. Okay. So it's not just family arriving for the afternoon for the big turkey dinner, because everyone lives out of town, and with 5 grandchildren. And my biggest concern has always been is you don't leave the kitchen if you're cooking and things are on the stove or in the oven. And I'm always having to navigate, where are the children? Or there's always the announcement, okay, opening the oven door, everybody out.
And when you think about that, you have people staying at your house that aren't staying there all the time. And they may have grown up in the house, but they've been gone for a while, or grandkids that are staying there once, twice a year. That's the important time to talk about, are you having working smoke alarms on every level? Oh, yeah. Obviously, that's key, right? Yeah. When the smoke alarm activates, what's your procedure? Where are you going to meet everybody? Making sure that they're, and I strongly recommend the smoke alarms in bedrooms, right? Because a lot of people now will sleep with some sort of electronic device very close, plugged into their bedroom, right? Yeah. So having a smoke alarm on the outside of that door, not having one inside, if a fire starts in a bedroom, that could be troubling, right? And in fact, the Ontario Building Code changed in 2015 to require smoke alarms in bedrooms, right? So you have to have smoke alarms in bedrooms and on every level. on houses built after 2015, and I'm a strong advocate of having smoke alarms on both sides. And funny, when I talk to kids in high school and we have this conversation, and then we show them a couple of videos, they quickly clue in that, hey, either have the door open a couple of inches, right, or add an additional smoke alarm. Very simple thing to do. And then obviously carbon monoxide. We just had a call last week, right? We had a lot of heavy snow. Carbon monoxide alarm did its job. It activated and told the family there was a problem. We went over, we said, yeah, there's the problem. We clued in where the problem was coming from because of the exhaust port was covered. And we were able to mitigate that situation. But carbon monoxide alarms are also a very important aspect of this time of year. Furnaces are firing up more than they were in the last few weeks. Making sure that there's one on every level that you have sleeping. So you have 2 levels of sleeping, two carbon monoxide alarms. And one of the questions I get, Rhonda, lots of times is, where does that carbon monoxide alarm go? Should it be high? Should it be low?
Yeah, because how does that circulate throughout the house and in the air? It weighs
almost the same as air. So that molecule is going to move through the house the same as your ambient airflow. So it could be plugged in, it could be on the countertop, or it could be a combination device. It's your choice. There's all kinds on the market. And of course, if you can't afford one, if you don't know it's working, give our office a call. We have smoke alarms and carbon monoxide alarms, so we can offer some assistance there. We can come over and check to make sure they're working and put batteries in them, show you how they work. So at any time, don't worry about that. Give our office a call and we can assist. We've had some great sponsors in the last couple of years for giving us those devices. But when that carbon monoxide alarm goes off, it's also the time to get out, right? So the family members know, hey, I need to go outside. I shouldn't be staying in the house. I need to go out to my meeting place, dialing 911 from a safe location, and letting my colleagues come and make sure the situation is safe for you.
That's right.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, we do.
With the door, though, but when you mentioned that, you know, like teenagers, they've got umpteen things plugged in their room, the idea of leaving the door open or having a smoke detector in the room, I think I'd prefer that because they don't want the door open.
That's right. They're looking for privacy. So to add that level of safety in the home, put a smoke alarm in the bedroom for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just wanted to put your mind at ease because the last time we spoke, which I think might have been through Zoom or at the old studio, I had a fire extinguisher. And you commented that it belonged in a museum.
I think it was, I think I mentioned it was from Grey Roots, didn't I, or something like that, yeah.
So we immediately went out and upgraded our fire extinguisher. And of course, we have one in the kitchen, easily accessible and ready to go at a moment's notice. I just really wanted you to know that.
That's good. Now I will sleep better. You're right.
Well, you know what? They age so quickly. Like mine, I actually put on black marker on the outside of the canister 2020. Yeah. So I thought, okay, I just have to look at it and know, okay, that's going to have to be replaced after a certain amount of time. Yeah.
Now, one of the simplest ways to put out a fire on the kitchen stove is what, ladies? What's the simplest thing to do?
A lid?
The lid.
The lid.
When you put the lid on it, you put that lid on it, you're taking away the oxygen. Yeah. The fire will go out, right? Then you can reach across, turn the burner off, leave the pot on the stove top. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but years ago, got a call from a lady on the west side of town. She said, you know, I have to replace the carpet in the hall. My landlord's making me replace the carpet in the hall. All right. So over I went and then visited with the young lady, knocked on the door, and sure enough, you could see that she had a kitchen fire in her apartment. She didn't call the fire department. That's a different story. We're going to come back to dialing 911 in a moment. But I said, what did you do, ma'am? She goes, well, I took the pot and put it on the floor out in the hall, and she had an area rug in front of her door, and sure enough, you could see exactly where she'd set the pot. Nice round ring. I'm like, well, it looks like a possibility that you might be responsible for that damage done, right? Yeah. Leave the pot on the stove. Don't move it.
Yeah.
When a fire occurs, and we've had it happen here in the last little bit in Owen Sound, when an emergency occurs, we're there for you. Dial 911. Ask for our assistance. Don't use our business line. Because our business line, sometimes there's nobody at the station, right? It's not going to be answered by anybody. Yeah. So in an emergency, do not hesitate to dial 911. We'll come and we can assess. We'll tell you if it's an emergency or not. We'll thank you for calling us. But don't hesitate to dial 911. Don't waste time trying to do things and think, oh, I can make it better myself. The City of Owen Sound residents are paying for a really high level of service, and I encourage them to use that high level of service and not think that they're bugging us or bothering us. No, that's what we're there for. Whether it's ourselves, Owen Sound Police Services, Grey County Paramedics, we can come in a moment. We're here, we're ready. So dialing 911 in an emergency is vital. I can't overstate that enough. That when you see an emergency, when you see a fire, when you see anything going on that need those emergency assistance, give us a call. We can offer that assistance. And if we can't help, we can definitely help you get the different services that are available after the fact, right? That are available for you in our community.
Oh yeah, victim services.
Yeah, victim services, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so what do you suggest for folks who think that keeping warm by using a barbecue or something like that?
Not a good idea. I mean,
every year we hear stories about that.
And finally, with my friends at the Intertownship Fire Department, we had a bit of a conversation about one that in a dwelling that wasn't really a normal dwelling, or at least it wasn't a seasonal normal dwelling. Anytime you're using any kind of fuel-fired appliance, whether that's a barbecue or a space heater, those kind of things, especially if you're using a space heater or a barbecue for your space heater, make sure that you've got a well-ventilated location, right? You've got a carbon monoxide alarm there, and it's got lots of clearance around it. And barbecues are not designed to be used inside. If you have to resorting to using a generator for power sources for whatever reason, make sure that generator's run outside where it's a well-ventilated location. It's not close to the air intakes in your building, right? So you're not recycling air through the building, right? You want to make sure that generators run away from the building so that you can continue to live safely in the home for whatever reason you're there.
And are you talking about one of those generators, the emergency generators? Because we live on 2 acres out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, do we need a generator if the power goes out? And so you're saying that needs to be, outside the building.
Yeah.
And it needs to be installed by a credible
electrician
who knows exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because it would run off either propane or gas.
Propane or
can't run off electricity, obviously.
No, it's challenging, yeah. So if you're going to have a generator, and I think it's a great emergency plan for your house, if we have a power outage or a tree knockdown, and especially this time of year, it doesn't take long for the house to lose energy.
Heat,
and if we have a major windstorm come through and there's one person to fix or the City of Owen Sound to fix, you know where the triage is going to go. They're going to get to you, but they're probably going to do some other things first. I'm not saying they will, but that's generally how you see it. The major urban centers get zoomed up first, then the person that lives at the end of the remote concession gets fixed. And so having that is a very good part of your emergency plan for your home, right? There's all kinds of talk about emergency planning outside of fire and emergency services, but having a generator, but having it outside, having it in a well-ventilated location. And even, thinking about power goes out, you want to start to cook, you got, my barbecue, I can bring that into the garage, right? You have carbon monoxide poisoning potential, and you also have fire chance, right? If the barbecue isn't designed to be used in a house, it needs to be well ventilated, lots of space around it, and a fire could occur that way as well.
Well, you shouldn't even keep your gas canisters for your barbecue in your house either,
propane,
or in your
propane. No, absolutely not.
So they need to be out in the shed,
correct?
Away from the house, not even in the garage.
That's one of the things that my colleague Doug and I find a lot when we're doing routine fire inspections. We find the propane tanks in buildings, and we're very clear that the TSSA actually regulates that, and they require them to be stored outside, and that's a very important thing to do, is to store those away outside. And that's as much for your safety as my colleague's safety too, right? If a fire starts in the house, we don't want to have a 20-pound propane tank in there that could fail while my colleagues are in there. And that's why we're very adamant in commercial settings and in residential settings that they need to be stored outside in a well-ventilated location.
I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a house and the furnace room is jam-packed with stuff, including all of their chemicals and paints and paint thinners and all these things, and you think, good Lord, this is a, not safe way to store your chemicals and such. Yeah.
Now we're really excited through their Christmas series. The Ontario Fire Marshal's Public Fire Safety Council partners with fire departments all across the province, and in the last number of years we've partnered with our radio stations to do the 12 days of fire safety. So there's a great promotion starting on the Mix 106.5 here December the 12th. So listen to their show. You get the opportunity to win a carbon monoxide alarm, a smoke alarm. It's a great package from Kitty Canada. And every day for 12 days, our radio partnerships in Owen Sound will have that promotion on, and a chance to win new devices. devices. I say to you guys, if somebody doesn't have a device, they don't know how they can check the device, they don't know if it's working, please give our office a call. We'll come and give you that assistance. We have the devices. And also, I wanted to touch base a little bit about the hush feature. So intentionally disabling smoke alarm is a bad idea, right? So you're cooking this weekend and your grandkids are over, you open the oven up and the smoke alarm goes off, and it does it every time, so you get mad at the smoke alarm, you take the battery, you put it on the counter, and then you continue on, you have a couple of drinks, you forget, you go to bed, and oh boy, the smoke alarm is still on the counter with the battery out of it.
Yep.
Every smoke alarm on the market today has a hush feature. So when that smoke alarm activates, and it could be from boiling water or opening the stove or even barbecue, there's all kinds of ways to do it. If you go over and press the hush feature, the smoke alarm shuts up, it goes into silent mode. 5 to 6 minutes later, you hear it go chirp, chirp. It's back in business and it's ready to go. The battery isn't out of the smoke alarm. The smoke alarm is still on the ceiling. And in fact, you look like somewhat of a witch or a magician if you walk over and just press the button. Everybody will go, whoa, what did you just do? As it happens to me a lot, I'll walk over and like, man, like, what did you do? I'm like, I just silenced it, you guys. Stop it, right? So just know that that's there on every smoke alarm. If you can't reach it, I mean, I'm lucky, my genetics get me to a little over 8 feet when I reach up. A broomstick, right? You can press with the broomstick, you can press that hush button with a broomstick, and it'll shut up. So,
and what's the worst case scenario? If you're not pushing the hush button, you're probably pushing a test button.
Potentially,
but you just move the broomstick over.
There's only one of 2 buttons. Some of them, and you just as long as you push on the whole top, they'll silence.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I know that we're particularly conscientious about safety in our house, and particularly with our grandchildren. And maybe they think we're a little bit overprotective when it comes to safety issues, but I think that is really important because we want everyone to be well and healthy and to be able to celebrate the holidays with all their family and friends intact.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's so one of the other things that we're actually doing is we are putting together a backpack. If we need to leave our house in a hurry and we need to grab one thing, then we have that backpack, and we have all the essentials in that backpack that we're going to need, like our credit card numbers, our passports, maybe even a little bit of cash, some extra clothing, like a first aid kit, just those things. So if you need to leave your house, you've got one thing, one chance to take something with you because you're in your jammies.
Yeah.
There's the backpack.
Absolutely good idea. Our emergency plan in the city of Owen Sound and in the county of Grey, we look for the residents to be able to look after themselves for 72 hours, right? That's what we hope that kit has enough stuff in it. Now, depending on how many people are in the house, depends on the size of the kit, your medications, your pets' foods, those kind of things. So you can look after yourself for 72 hours. Then that gives us as a municipality enough time to go, okay, can we stop the problem?
Yeah.
Okay, if we can't stop the problem, what can we do to assist you, and where are we going to house those individuals that need house? So it gives us a bit of a lag time to catch up. Not to say we're not ready, but we've got all kinds of plans in place. But we really look for people to have a 72-hour kit, and I admire and I give you credit for that.
Well, we want to say thank you to Greg for coming today, and we look forward to his next visit here on Rogers TV. We'll be back after these messages.
Leonard Thompson, 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Starve the child to let them live? The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting, this could be it. He's the first to receive this trial. But will it save him?
It's not pure enough. So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collop, and McLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
Hi, I'm David Shearman, host of Politically Speaking. Join me for my next show, where my guest will be Francesca Dobbin of the United Way of Bruce Gray. Politically Speaking on Rogers TV.
What kind of show do you want to see on Rogers TV? What interests you? Log on to rogerstv.com, fill out a show proposal, and tell us about your segment idea. We want to know what you want to see. Rogers TV, only on Rogers.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. I'm Rhonda Brown.
And I'm Mary J. Murray, and we have, in the spirit of the season, we are inviting Laura Wood to come and join us. She's from Owen Sound Waste Watchers, and this is a local group of very concerned citizens who are taking on the initiative of helping us to better understand how we can put together a less trashy Christmas.
I'm glad you used that term. It makes my heart sing.
So tell us how we can do that, Laura.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. So at Owen Sound Waste Watchers, we really believe that we can all make a difference through little actions and the amount of pollution and stuff that's going into landfill via our garbage streams. So if you go onto our website, you'll see that we have 7 ideas that will result in a slightly less trashy Christmas. And do you remember when we were kids, you know, we'd have a green garbage bag out there and all of the wrapping would go into and all of the packaging would go into it. And there'd be at least 1 or 2 extra garbage bags that went to the curb after Christmas, in addition to all the food and everything else, right? So it was always a fairly trashy time at Christmas time. So we have 7 ideas, and they are 7 areas. They include the gifts you purchase, how you wrap the gifts, what kind of food to buy, how to reduce waste when you're entertaining, all sorts of things under those 7 categories, and they're on our website at oswastewatchers.ca. And I brought a few little props with me today. First of all, most of them have to do with gift wrapping, I would say. This one in particular, I am really thrilled about. I don't know if we can get a picture of this.
Yes, that is beautiful.
I'll try to organize this. This actually was something that I noticed on Facebook. It is a box that was painted by our local artist, Denise Freeman, and she posted it on Facebook because she was going to be selling these things at Heartwoods.
Yep.
And I nabbed this one before. I'm returning it to her today. I hope she can sell it. If you're interested in this box, contact Denise Freeman. In any case, this was actually an old cell phone box. And the cell phone boxes are fantastic because they're made for shipping.
Yes.
And so they could take the paint. So I thought this was a wonderful example of what you can do if you are creative. You can create an heirloom when you give it to someone with the gift inside. This is also part of the gift, and I'm sure it will be going back and forth in your family for years. I didn't bring one with me today, but I went to Paris once with my daughter and found a little box that says Paris, and so it goes back and forth between the 2 of us, and we remember the trip, right? Every time. Sometimes the memories are nicer than what's in the box, but that's fine. Here's an example of a box of something I got at a local store. I think it was a teacup or something, and then created, it was such a great box. I created, just put some ribbon on the top. That I've had for about 3 or 4 years, and they tend to come back to me, or I grab them back from people. And this is an example of something that I picked up. It is a locally made candle that I'm giving to a friend for Christmas. Nice thing about this container is it's got a nice wide lid, which means it's going to be perfect once this is done for getting treats at Bulk Barn, because you can stick stuff in it, and it's glass, so it'll last forever. So think about the packaging of the products that you're buying for Christmas. Is it a recyclable container like this glass one? Is it reusable? Okay. Here's another favorite in our family, and that is the old coffee canister that was decorated, and it's perfect because I hate wrapping presents, so boxes are fantastic. And it's smells great too. It smells like coffee. So that goes back and forth.
That is a fantastic
What do you do with these?
idea.
Because these used to be metal, but they're no longer metal. They're cardboard with foil on the inside, which means it's not recyclable. So the old metal ones were great for different things, but they're no longer metal because that's heavy and expensive to ship. So you can use this, and it's fantastic. There's a lot of room in there, so that's just an idea.
Yeah.
Another friend on Facebook said that they have been using Christmas gift bags in her family for 30 years, and this was a new one that came to our family last year, and our grandson absolutely loves cars, so he's going to be getting something in that, and probably in this box that goes back and forth. These boxes are available, you can wrap them yourselves, but they're also available for very little cost at local dollar stores. The other thing I wanted to mention is about gifts. They don't always have to be new. They can be things that people have that you want to pass on to people, and why wait to pass them on? If they've admired something, you can give it to them now. Can't get into this gift wrapping because I did such a good job with it. But there was a holiday toy and book exchange at the Hub this last weekend, and so I went, and we have a new grandson, and so I was able to pick up I love this book, Breakfast for Mama. I thought you're never too early to learn about this. And this actually has instructions of how to do it. So I guess maybe, I don't know, for the other parent in the family, I don't know. But anyways, I picked up that book, and then also picked up this toy, which I thought was amazing because he likes to read. He likes vehicles, but this is all about farming. Corey Combines. And so I had never seen this before. The interesting thing about, first of all, he says he's a young child. He's not going to know whether this is new or not.
And he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. So gift exchanges are a fabulous idea. So if you know other people that have stuff, perhaps you can have an exchange, or garage sales are great for gifts.
Which also cleans up your toys a wee bit, and rather than adding to the chaos, by exchanging, because they do grow tired of toys as well.
They do, they do. And I've also gone to, I think it's the Mission Store and Value Village, and being able to pick up some great toys, because, toys don't stay new very long.
That's right.
But think about the sustainability of a product. We've spent all of the energy to make something and use it once. Passing it on, extending the life of that product, means that we are being more mindful, and we're honoring all of the energy it took to make that product. So, vintage used to be in, but I think it's also now people are interested in their impact on the planet, and therefore going to something that is more sustainable, like secondhand stuff, I think is very, very important. And also, it's usually less expensive. We've also used Facebook Marketplace to buy different things. And at this time of the year, there's a lot of people that are putting stuff for sale because they need to have some ready cash. And why not purchase things that way?
Oh, it's huge.
One of the things that I've been doing for years, and I mentioned that my grandparents and my parents grew up in the tail end of the Depression, and so we've always, I mean, for years they used the regular Christmas wrapping paper. It was always saved and used another year, and then saved again and used another year. So I have moved away from Christmas wrapping paper, and I use simply white computer paper.
Oh, yes.
And ribbon. And I got that inspiration. I walked by the Artists Co-op about 10 years ago, and they had done all their window display.
Yes, I remember that. Yeah.
And I just looked,
striking.
It was so gorgeous that I've been doing that for years. So the white paper is recyclable, and the ribbon, and all the daughter-in-laws know now, is you keep the ribbon because we're going to see it again next year. But and everything is so pretty with as you say, with the ribbon, it just makes a gift come alive.
I mean, it can make anything look good,
it
right?
Does. It does. And so, you know, and the boxes too. If there's a box, it's saved. And so we haven't had to actually purchase Christmas stuff for wrapping or anything like that.
It's true. The other thing that's interesting to note is that if you do purchase something new, try to avoid anything that has glitter on it, because if there's any glitter on it, it's not recyclable.
Oh, yeah.
So that, I mean, a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
The other thing is, I wanted to mention that we've gotten into the habit of sending e-cards rather than Christmas cards. I always loved sending Christmas cards. I loved giving Christmas cards in the mail. I still have some. I tend to cut them up and make them into gift tags. We all did that way back in the day, right? But now we send e-cards. And what's interesting about that is they're less expensive than actually sending a physical card. People can look at them in their in-basket or just get rid of them if they want to, so there's no garbage or recycling that's required with that. And as I discovered when I was setting up my list, now I'm gonna have to send you guys a Christmas card. But anyways, when I set up my list, I can now say I want to schedule it for, and this is new function on paperlesspost.com, I think it is. So it's less expensive, there's less waste, and I can schedule it. So I could do this in July. I could get it ready and just say send it out. And yes, so
that's great.
That is brilliant.
That is great. I mean, we won't have the garlands of all the cards swagged in our house, but you know, there's fewer and fewer people sending cards anyways. But if you like to do that, then a service like, you know, I think it's Jackie Lawson does nice little cards, or we use paperless post. So.
Well, one of the things that we always reuse our Christmas cards in various ways. And this year I had purchased some gift cards because I know that consumables are going to be consumed.
Yes.
Rather than creating other kinds of waste. But I didn't have a box. So I looked at last year's Christmas cards and went, because the gift cards were a little bit longer than normal. And I took the Christmas cards and I made them into boxes.
Oh my goodness.
And then just tied them up with ribbon, just, you know, because it was a stocking stuffer. They weren't expensive
cards.
Wait,
is your whole family going to know what they're getting for Christmas now?
Oh, surprise is gone.
No one watched this show.
We've ruined Christmas for the Murray family.
I'm not letting my grandson watch this show.
Like, keep him off the show.
Well, probably by the time they get around to it, they'll already have opened everything. Because we actually celebrate a little bit early.
Right.
One of the things for my sons growing up, the Christmas morning was always in somebody else's house. It was a grandparent, or it was an aunt, or, you know, so we were traveling every Christmas.
And you didn't want to take stuff there and then bring it back. Right.
And of course, when you're traveling, you have to make sure the gifts can all fit in the car. And then they receive gifts that we can't transport back.
I remember those days.
However, so what I have said to my sons is that we'll have Christmas early, but my grandchildren must be in their own home on Christmas Eve for Christmas morning. Because, you know,
makes sense.
I regret. It was lovely to have family. It was lovely to get together. I regret all that travel for my own children.
Yeah. You know, it's such a stressful time of the year, and if we can actually simplify things, like the example that you've given, and just make it easier on ourselves, I think less wasted energy worrying about Christmas is also an important part of Waste Watchers. The one thing I just wanted to mention is that, you know, there are 22,000 people in Owen Sound and around 9,000 households. So if every household reduced just 1 pound of waste this Christmas, that would be 4.5 tons less of garbage going into landfill. That's something for us to think about in Owen Sound, right? Just 1 pound. I mean, I know that we're going to reduce more than 1 pound, but if every household could just think of 1 or 2 things that they can do, it makes a huge difference. I can't even imagine how big a pile of 4.5 tons is of landfill just for one day, right?
Yeah.
And it's certainly not what Christmas is about, right? Christmas should not be about garbage, so, or the holidays certainly shouldn't be about garbage.
No, and I really like the idea of sort of upcycling something. We've always looked at pieces of furniture or items. Well, if I painted this a nice bright color, this shelf would be perfect for my granddaughter, and this was years ago, so she's already got it.
Right.
We just took the shelf, spruced it all up, put her initial on it, and that was her gift, rather than going out and purchasing another shelf or something.
Yeah, and it'll mean a lot to them because you put your own personal stamp on it.
Oh yes, it was a shelf that my dad had made years and years and
Nice.
years ago, and then it got passed on. So I think upcycling what you already have in many different ways.
And I think that's important this year. You know, the cost of everything has gone up. The cost of food in particular. You know, food waste is a really massive thing in Canada, and I think the cost of food going up, more people are being mindful of what they're purchasing and the expense of what they're purchasing, and not wanting to throw any food out. So in Owen Sound Waste Watchers, we talk about the 7 things you can do, not just for the holiday season, but generally, and one of them is composting. Now, unfortunately, we don't have organic pickup yet in Owen Sound, but if you do compost, you know, just be mindful of that around the Christmas time. Buy things you know you like to eat, rather than things that you think you should buy because it's Christmas.
Yes, you know, that is a trap you get into, and just it's routine, and you just think, oh, well, this is what we do.
Yes.
But we don't have to do that.
Yes.
We can make new things, new traditions.
And if you're purchasing those traditional things, think about going to Bulk Barn, bringing your glass jars there, you know, buying nuts there that you can crack. That was a tradition in our family. Our kids have no idea what this is, but, you know, we'd have a big bowl of nuts and we'd crack them. Or candies. There's so much plastic wrapping on the Christmas type of candies. Go to Bulk Barn and get it there. Bring your containers. Some days they even have a discount.
What do they do? If you bring your own container, do they measure it first?
They do. So you go to the cash, and they usually have something off the side. So you take your container. It has to be clean. And they weigh it, and they write the weight on the top. So then when you fill it up and you go to cash, they reduce that weight.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's fabulous.
It is fabulous. And I like glass jars because I can see them, and things store better in glass than plastic. Plastic is porous. So
absolutely.
So, one of the things, really quickly, that I have, my mother-in-law gave me 50 years ago. She gave me this little, it looks like a wallet, and you zip it around, and you open up, and it's a bag.
Oh, yeah.
My red bag. And I go into the stores with no, I don't need a bag, thank you. And I just fill up my red bag. And if I have to go into another store, I go into the car, I dump it out.
That's it.
And then I take a fresh, empty bag into the store, because there's concern about shoplifting.
Yes.
And so if you go in with a bag already open and full, then they wonder what else is in there. So I go to the car, I empty it out. And then I've been carrying this for 50 years.
There's so many things that you can do.
There are.
And what's nice now is they have these bags that can just sit in your purse.
Oh, yeah. There's lots of ways to do it. So thank you so much, Laura Wood from Waste Watchers in Owen Sound, and we look forward to our next visit. We'll be back after these messages.
I'm Nicol Martin, the proud ambassador for the Comfort Bear program. Comfort Bears provide these cuddly bears to local children who are terminally ill, facing trauma, or battling a serious illness. Every $20 donation will place a Comfort Bear into the loving arms of a child involved in our program. It is our hope to distribute 1,000 bears in 2022. Please join us and provide comfort to kids in their time of need.
Grey County. Think it's too late to become more fit? Think again. I'm personal trainer Karen Ross, specializing in 55+ fitness. My mission is to help you find your way back to health and wellness. I'll give you the knowledge and the power to take control of your own fitness path. Everyone deserves quality of life for their entire life. Tune in to A Little Bit Fit with me, Karen Ross, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Grey County Life on Rogers TV. We have Renee at site, and it is Adorable Adoptables, which we have missed so much. Although you missed Charlie, he did come in for a visit, and yes, it was a lot of hoopla, but yes, it was a lot of fun. Actually, yeah, I have questions too for after that. Yeah, and who are these guys?
Well, a few weeks ago, we had a conversation about kittens at the shelter, and I said, you know, we had a whole pile of kittens, and I said, well, you know, it's going to end soon, seasonally, it doesn't happen. I was wrong. We're still getting kittens. These two are siblings, if you can believe it or not. I don't know, different dad, I don't know. Somewhere in their heritage, there's clearly a long-haired and clearly a short-haired. But they are siblings. I mean, in saying that, they don't need to go home together. They like each other. If you want to, take two. But if not, we can certainly separate them. This short-haired little fella is a male. And this long-haired little fluff ball is a female. She looks much bigger, but it's all hair. In fact, when you pick her up, she's actually smaller than he is. She's just really fluffy. We don't often see them with this double coat. The double coat is quite common in the Persian breed. If you look like this, you see there's like gray hair underneath and then black hair on the top. So this cat is going to be super duper fluffy. I have to mention that because sometimes people are concerned about allergies or extra shedding. This cat is definitely going to be not shedder. It's going to be a big shedder.
Yep.
Now, there are sometimes advantages to that. People don't hear me say that too often, but if I've owned both in my lifetime, and the longer-haired cats shed hair in little hair balls as opposed to individual hairs. Sometimes that's easier to deal with because you can just pick up the ball of hair as opposed to those single hairs. I don't know. It's all really about preference, but definitely not a cat if you have allergies to cat dander or cat saliva. This cat's going to have a lot more of that. So potentially this might be a cat that you are allergic to.
She is stunning.
On the other hand of things, sometimes the long-haired cats are better for people with allergies. Something that most people don't know, but it's a great story. My husband is allergic to Himalayan cats. He works at the animal shelter. We often give him long-haired cats to hold to see what kind of a reaction his body has to that cat. And we do that to determine their heritage. If he gets a hive, we know it's a Himalayan.
Like, okay.
But in saying, I know,
poor guy.
we do it for fun. But in
watch it break out.
Exactly. But in saying that, somebody who is allergic to this cat might be not allergic to this cat because they may be the other end of things. This is not a Himalayan. He did not react to this kitten. But perhaps it would be a cat you're not allergic to. Now, I'm not recommending you come and rub them on you. I'm not recommending you come and sniff them. But it's something to keep in mind. Perhaps it's you're somebody who's doing some research. You want a cat. You're allergic to cats. You're freaked out about it because you don't know what to do. Take some time, maybe volunteer at the shelter, sniff stuff, rub stuff, I don't know. Now these two little ones, again, don't have to go together. They are great with cats. As you can tell, they've been with us a little bit of time, so they've been really well handled. To be honest, they're sitting here so still.
I can't believe it.
I know. I think they're enjoying, we have a little heat blowing on them. I think they're like, oh, this is the best day ever. We've gone back to the summer. They are very well litter trained. They've had their vaccines. They've been dewormed and defleed. Hi, Hi, you're so stinking cute. I'm sorry.
Look at the little black unders.
He got a little bit of excitement about that deworming. He was like, "You did what?" You did.
Nobody told me you were deworming me.
You did it. You did it already. And of course, they're going to fit anywhere. Good with cats, dogs, kids. Of course, we'd like to see them be indoor only, and they're totally okay with that, especially if they've got stuff to keep them busy, which is all good, right? Right. I'm sorry that you didn't know you were dewormed. I'm sorry, but it's good. They are not yet fixed. We don't spay neuter at this age. So that is something that somebody needs to consider if you're falling in love and going, oh my goodness, they're so cute. Please keep that in mind. That is something that you will have to do because we're not going to hang on to them until they're 6 months to get that done. There are low-cost options. We can certainly send you in that direction, but either way, you need to be prepared to do that. We don't want to see this one back because she got pregnant, right? That would be a sad day. Yeah.
But I see you brought some props.
I did. These are our Christmas stuffed socks, and I struggle every time I say that.
Every year.
Every year I struggle when I say that. Yay for doing it right. Every year we bring these out. Not sure whether or not they'll sell, but people love them. They are your stockings you can hang by the tree for your pet, or some people give them early. I will tell you that if you hang them by the tree, be aware your pet will open them because they smell really good. Been there, done that. They are $4 this year, and they're full of all sorts of goodies. All of them a little bit different. The volunteers make them for me, so I can't even tell you for sure what's in them. I know that there was a tennis ball in one of them, some treats and bones and rawhides and bandanas, all sorts of goodness. And of course, the best part is proceeds go to our spay, neuter, and medical fund, which of course we need in order to get much needed surgeries covered, which is huge. So it does us a huge favor. Now, if you want some, give us a call, send us an email, send us a Facebook or an Instagram message. We are open by appointment only, most importantly, so that we can make sure that we have them ready to roll. They're going pretty quick right now, which is great. And we want to make sure that if you come to the shelter, we have some ready for you, because it does take us a bit of time.
So how did, what was it called? Santa with your pets?
Oh my gosh.
Pets with Santa?
Pets with Santa, the pet pictures. It was a fantastic success. In fact, it's better probably than any we've had before. Can't say 100%, but we raised over $1,000, which when it's $20 a picture, you can imagine how stinking busy we were. It was fantastic, fantastic. Chandra is amazing. I have an elf who helps me every year. She's 15 years in with the pet pictures.
Oh my
gosh. Dedicated elf, that's for sure. A whole lot of fun. And you know, it's one of our favorite fundraisers because we enjoy seeing people who love their pets. We see so much in the other direction. It's really nice to remind us that pets are family in a lot of cases. So we love it. We love it. We love it. We have another fundraiser coming up, if I still got 2 seconds to talk about it.
Yep, 1 minute.
We talked about it a few weeks ago. It is the tattoo fundraiser. It's the one that you always go, huh? It's being held at Great Huron in Port Elgin at the tattoo company there. It is the only place it's being held, and there are specific tattoos that are being offered. These are tattoos for humans, not for your pets. $80 a tattoo. You pick the design you want. First come, first serve. You got to line up to get it done. It has been a good success in the past. We're hoping it is again. It is on December 10th. It starts at 10. It goes till 6. But again, I want to remind you, it's first come, first serve. So you want to come early to get in that line just in case, because we have no idea how the day is going to go.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, how do you predict that? But yeah, well, we don't have time.
We can't. We can't.
Oh my goodness. Well. Remember your pets this winter, this Christmas, and get a little treat for them from Renee at the animal shelter. We'll see you next week on Grey County Life.
The Rogers TV viewer response line. Email us or connect with us on social media.
was our 35th anniversary. To celebrate, we were on our way to Mama Rosie's, where we had our first date. That's when we heard coming from the radio. So we stopped and listened. It helped us get to safety. So when I think of our anniversary, because now we have even more to celebrate.
Bipolar disorder.
Substance addiction. Bulimia. OCD. Want to swap?